think we're just keeping people waiting. Zoom, setting up your YouTube live. And close all the other crappy YouTube stuff.
Yeah, I hope he could make it because one guy that is joining, he said he had a few questions for Jose. So I hope he can make it.
There we go. In the meantime, I'm gonna text Jose and see what the heck is going on.
All right. Oh man.
All right, here we go. We're live Friday night. As promised. There's no real what do we call format to this live session tonight. Just chime in, ask your questions. We're just gonna start talking about all the stuff going on with our cars. Han, you I kind of just cut you off. You were talking about a possible street race with an corn fueled WRX. Was that an STI or just a W?
Nah, it's a WRX. He'll probably join. He
Nice.
might. So
Yeah,
he's the guy on my channel. If you look at a K20 Too Fast for You, he used to have a K20.
yeah.
So he's all into he got brainwashed by the all-wheel drive Subaru stuff. And then I mean, he's excited. This is the fastest car he's ever had, and he wants to race. I'm gonna give him the race, but I just really wanted to see him against the GTI raced. And I was just texting him actually like not too long ago. Our race is on August 8th. We set it up already. So
Wow. It's like
yeah,
on a schedule and everything.
because he has like personal issues he has to take care of, so he's not available all the time. So August 8th, Saturday, second Saturday of August, we're gonna race. So we'll see. I mean, I'm gonna say right now, I'm gonna destroy him.
Yeah, that's your go-to line. I'm gonna
It's not
destroy
gonna
this
be even
cat.
like it's not gonna even be close.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Yikes, dude. I'm on my side, man. Like I'm trying to raise the weekend after. It's actually the Monday after that weekend.
At the track.
Yeah, but I really want those tires, dude, because I
Yeah,
don't want to beat up my. I mean, I have high performance summer tires, and
yeah,
they're good. Like they're surprisingly good. Um, but I'm still waiting on those wheels and tires from that. I'm not gonna name the place because they've been really good about their customer service, and
yeah,
but you know that's kind of like the one thing that I wanted to have was a good tracking tire,
yeah,
and it looks like I might not even have it, so I'll just go whatever. I'm not trying to set any records or anything. That's a pretty tough track, anyways. But doing Lime Rock with some semi slicks, R comp semi R comp tire would be
yeah,
badass.
yeah. I think I'm gonna hold off on tires for now. Ever since the all the upgrades I got, I don't spin because everything's just taller. So these tires they're sufficient enough for now. And then I've been pushing the cars on corners, man. I love ever since we did that spring upgrade, I love it. It's a totally different car.
Yeah,
And then I increased the dampening up front. I love the way it handles. So I'm kind of curious to see how the higher spring rate for the fronts feel on this
yeah,
car.
yeah, and it's okay if you use it and you're just like, oh, you know what, like you might have to back off the dampening at that
Yeah,
point
yeah,
because now you
yeah,
got a stiffer spring. But for me, like I'm still scraping sometimes. Like if I'm on the highway and I see a big dip, I have to hit the brakes. So I'm just like,
yeah,
I'm gonna scrape.
yeah,
So I end up like not slamming the brakes. I got some pretty good brakes right now. But I end up hitting the brakes and dropping from like 80 to 50 in like a second, making sure no one's gonna like ram me from behind.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I could feel like the front. like you said, when I go over bumps or dips, it's still bouncy,
Yeah.
but it's like it's not stiff bouncy. It's weird. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. I think with stiffer front brakes, it'll feel better for my car. But we'll see. We'll see.
You mean this different front springs?
Springs, yeah. I said brakes, springs.
It's
Yeah.
all good. It's late.
Yeah. Shoot.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
it just hit 9 o'clock. We were early.
yeah. Oh, my time here says 9:06. Oh, my other watch says 9. Let me see
Uh,
if participants. Nope.
Not yet. Yeah,
No
give it.
sign up
I
on
guess
there.
give them time.
Yeah. He probably did what he always does. Is he forgot to eat. That's just why he's telling us like, oh, I gotta find like a eating schedule. He forgot to eat, and now he's like rushing to eat something.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
probably not good for him.
yeah.
And then he's stuck.
Let's see here.
Here's a text Nathan and see what's up with that. Pop out. Yeah, dude. But anyway, like I see you sold the LSD pretty quick.
Yeah, I sold the LSD. I ended up selling for 400. I was asking 500. I mean, I really doesn't. I think OEM brand new is like 1,000. So I
Mhm.
just put 50% off, but I knew I was gonna get 500. So this guy was like, "Hey, would you take 400?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." I mean,
Yeah.
I'll never use it. I don't need it.
Hmm.
I'm trying to sell these injectors too, but um, we'll see. And then
Um,
the springs I need to sell. What else? I think that's about it. The clutch, got the clutch there, clutch disc, and that's about it.
yeah. The clutch disc. I'm curious if anybody like really bites on that. I mean, that clutch disc is in really good shape.
Yeah, I know. It has a lot because they could go a lot cheaper because I think they could get a pressure plate for cheap because I think the clutch setup without the flywheel is like 500 bucks. I'm throwing the clutch disc for 100. I mean, if someone threw me 50, I'd probably sell it because I'll never use it.
Yeah.
So they could buy that and get the pressure plate for like 200 bucks. They could have a clutch set for less than 300 bucks,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
Hmm.
We'll see.
Watch this. Bam.
Oh, you put two cameras.
2 cameras, dude. Yeah. This is the GoPro. That's why it looks all like fisheye and whatever. But I just the one is it's for backup because they are set to like go to sleep automatically. I
Yeah,
still
yeah.
haven't like bothered to like switch it over, but every 15, 20 minutes, like I have to either tap the screen or do something funny. I'm hooked, man. Like I got into this whole like making videos, and I wasn't going to do anything more than like use my iPhone.
Yeah,
And you know what the issue is? GoPros, they're great action cameras, but they're not very good cameras. Period.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. I need to buy a camera.
Yeah, like he's on the way, Jose. Um, so I still like the GoPro for shooting like those videos, like the video that I made about the springs.
Yeah,
Nothing else. Well, there's a few other action cameras. Nothing else can do that really. Like stick to your car and just like um, record a good fast video. Um, but as far as the sound, it's
yeah,
terrible. If you want to hook up a microphone, it's terrible. If you want to do a live stream, it's awful. So you have to invest in like without this box, the ATEM that Jose is like, you gotta buy this thing.
yeah.
Um, it's it's pretty horrendous, I think.
Well,
Um,
I found this thing for the GoPro for ours. Let me see here. It is the crap. Where is it?
mic adapter.
Media Mod.
Yes, that's for the 8. You have the 8?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here it is,
That
right
that, that
here.
doesn't work on the 7.
So it has a mic on it and a
Hmm.
couple other, and then you could put all these accessories. It's only 79 bucks. I was thinking about just getting it just to try it out.
Yeah.
You know the guy Alex that if you went to his channel, he did the we did the video about my car.
Yeah, the
He fil-
GTI guy.
yeah, he filmed all that on his GoPro, and he
That,
just had an external mic, and everything else was pretty good, I thought.
yeah,
So
but dude, like that's the issue. You can't just hook up any mic. They have
yeah,
a proprietary GoPro mic adapter, and it's like for all their GoPros. Like I think GoPros from 7 to and up had good, you know, audio capturing software on them.
yeah,
Like I had a GoPro 6, I think, and I thought it was gonna be great. And I still have it. I rarely record a video on it because the audio just sucks.
yeah,
Even if I like a friend of mine had a mic adapter, I used it. For some reason, the audio just sounded terrible. The seven's a lot better for especially for in-car stuff. But like that mic adapter was like $80.
yeah.
Um, TV live. Bam, bam. Watch this. Let's switch over here. Do this doohickey here. Switch back. Bam. Um, so see, I just didn't like that. Like this box, it's 350, no, $300, and you can hook up almost any camera to it. You do some weird stuff like picture in picture. See
Oh,
that?
yeah, yeah.
um, there's a bunch of stuff that I really haven't bothered doing, but there's a still. You can load up a still picture, whatever. Um, so yeah, so I'm like I said, I'm hooked. I think it's Jose's fault, coming on here with his HT cameras, and I think I'm next. I do want to try a drone video.
Yeah.
So that's why I was looking at drones, but they're kind of expensive.
Yeah.
This whole YouTube shit has gotten like way out of control, like way out of control.
Yeah. Yeah, it is yeah, equipment starts getting expensive.
Yeah.
So I think I won't get it until like I start making my videos more official, like with a nice intro, just make it more edits. Like I just point and shoot, record, and upload. I don't
Yeah,
like cut edit, do all this stuff. I don't do all that yet.
yeah.
Yeah.
You
So
know, I wasn't going to either, man. But I think, like you said, I think we talked, last week. You said you had like a artistic side or like something like whatever. That's like what it's been feeding me. Like I also have like a tendency to get artsy fartsy and shit.
mhm.
And like sitting there and editing a video, like do sometimes, like just so that I don't like my wife doesn't notice. I'll wake up at 5 because that's what I normally do. I'll go upstairs and I'll edit a video for like an hour or two. And like, yeah, because she'll be like, "You're crazy.
Yeah, I
Why
used
are
to
you
like
investing so much time?"
yeah, I used to do that a lot when I had my gaming channel,
Yeah,
like editing the gaming footage, make the perfect picture quality. I used to be all into it, but then I stopped and then I forgot a lot about it. So it's
yeah,
I I just got to get back into it with the car stuff.
yeah. No, dude, you're doing good. Like I was lazy about putting a video out about this today. I'm like, I'll just use this video. Whatever.
Fuck.
Yeah,
My
so
knee is killing me.
knee,
Yeah, I got bad knees.
dude, me too. It's bad. It's bad when you're trying to do them squats.
Oh shit. I got notification. That's weird. Oh, there's people in the thing. There's three
No.
people.
Oh shit. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, there's. Oh, good
There's
evening, all.
or four people.
Hey
Hello,
guys.
good evening.
Oh, Jose's here now.
Hey, Tony said he just give him a minute too. He's gonna try and hook up.
All right, cool.
I have to text him the invite.
All right, we got four people, five people now.
All right, awesome, awesome. And then give me a minute for the video as well.
Okay.
Hello, everybody.
So they finally woke up.
Ah, man, it's like these schedules, man. I almost like. I think we should try 10 o'clock instead.
No,
No,
no.
I'll be half asleep.
Yeah,
I'm always running trying to make it to 9.
be like, oh.
Shit.
You gotta remember to set up your alarm, Jose.
This is. I just got back from this trip, man, and I didn't get home until 2 o'clock in the morning. Then,
Today?
oh yeah, and
Oh,
then
wow.
still have to get up early in the morning for work. So it's been a long day as it is. So had dinner. I'm waiting, to get things ready, and of course, whoop.
Yeah. I was getting worried there for a minute. I'm like, I'm gonna start texting his wife. I'm gonna text Nathan. I'm gonna like whatever message his daughter.
My wife is out, man. She works early too. She starts at 4 a.m.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's kind of been a little rough for her. But
So
Oh,
Daxter's here. He's got an air to water kit, 1320.
Mr. Daxter, nice.
Dexter, 1320.
Yeah. Just don't raise Hans. It ain't worth it. Not at all.
So I don't want to. Nah, I'm not gonna even jinx it. If I jinx, I'll be mad. I'm not gonna say anything.
No, now you have to say something.
Nah, man, I
Too
should.
late.
So I put the new module in, and it's
Yeah.
been working perfect. I don't know if it's because this old one, it has only like a couple settings, right? But with the new one, it has all these input, outputs, and stuff like that. But they have like settings where it's like low, 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 high, 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 low. Meaning, before you put this module in, if your speedometer is running too low, you need to go higher. If it's running too high, it needs to go lower, stuff like that. So I was messing with all the settings, and then I put high, high finally, and then I messed with it. And ever since then, man, my speedo's been good. I sent a couple tunes, data logs to Derek.
Nice.
Before he said when I gunned it, it'll drop to 0 miles per hour. He's like, yo, you really need to look into it. So I messed with it a little more, and then I sent him a couple data logs, and he's like, it's been fine. So the new
That's
one is
great.
really good. This one's just outdated. I think that's the problem.
Sorry, man.
No, it's all good. Needed something.
You needed something to get you there and get you tuned.
Yeah.
Now you can save it in your garage for 10 years. And when someone else
Just
needs
sell it to somebody.
you can
It's a
sell
mirror
it.
if it works.
Yeah. So Dexter says he wasn't brave enough for the 1900. I tell everybody, get the 1900, man. Trust me.
He does.
Trust me. You know,
What held them back about the 1900?
he said he just was scared. Let me see.
He's got an 8th gen.
Yeah,
He's
he got
got
an 8th gen.
How much? Let's see how Daxter. How much boost are you making?
He was on the 3.2 pulley. Yeah, what boost are you on?
You got to realize, like when we talk, it's about 10 to 15 seconds delayed. So
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Either we wait or I just message him.
All right.
11 psi. Oh, that's not bad. Yeah, dude, drop that thing to like the 2.8 pulley.
Yeah, 11 psi ain't shit.
I wonder if he has cooling after cooler.
Yeah, air to water.
Oh, duh. He did say that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, only 11 psi. Shoot,
Only 11. Yeah.
you need to upgrade, sir. Trust me. I'm running 18.
Well, okay. Let's not get too excited.
He's in South Florida.
Here's the thing, though. Once you upgrade, right? Remember, there's some changes you need to make to your training.
Oh
Those
yeah.
big changes, like the gears, LSD. Yeah.
Oh, he came from CT kit. That's why.
Yeah, so you got to remember, like I said, it gets a little expensive real quick when you get to a bigger boost. So
he's asking if he should go straight to 2.8. but he's in South Florida. Keep in mind, it's really hot there all the time.
Upgrade the pump, right?
So I just told him we got some pumps that we might be testing soon.
Yeah.
So, but we're gonna pump the brakes on this one. Will with all 6 piston calipers, and yeah, I'm in Connecticut, Daxter, and I would say upgrade the pump that circulates the water.
Oh, Connecticut, he means. My fault. I thought he meant CT kit. He meant Connecticut, originally from Connecticut.
Yeah. Oh, duh. We sound like idiots here, guys.
I thought he
Oh,
meant.
yeah, I'm
I thought he
Connecticut
meant
down.
originally from CT kit. That's what I thought. Oh well.
Yeah. But yeah, we're Daxter. We're testing some pumps that should move the water faster, and that will help us with cooling. I to this day I really don't have a cooling issue. I don't see my temps go crazy, even in the hot summer days.
Yeah, I think mine has ranged from 20 to 40-degree ambient now. But see, it only hit 40 degrees above ambient when we were getting it tuned.
It's hot as
So
balls in there.
so those fans that was being used at the dyno wasn't probably like real life airflow. You know what I'm trying to say? Because when I was driving, it's been almost 100 degrees here every day, and my ambience when I'm driving is only like 20 to 30 degrees above. You know what I'm trying to say? So
Okay.
I think with the bigger pump, hopefully it'll reduce it to maybe 10 to 20. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Jose, if you're still around, Matt wants to know what you think is a safe PSI on pump gas.
For which motor?
Let's say
The K20?
K24. Matt, I don't know. I think Matt is a 9th gen guy.
So I did 15 pounds for almost, I did 15 pounds for
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
6 to 8,000 miles or something. And mine was on pump gas.
Yeah.
So I've had it when my last tune at 15 pounds at 384, I was in Derek's shop in January, February, and I just got it retuned here in July. So about 6 months, I've been running 15 pounds, driving the car, and I have no issues, zero.
You guys can hear me okay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Alright,
just
good.
can't see you.
All right, no bad. Yeah, I just got my things connected here. I'm gonna try to get that video now.
He's putting on his makeup.
Yeah.
Oh no, hey Matt.
Oh, you call me. Oh,
I was on 93. I just switched to E85 this last go round. That's why I upped the boost. I was on 15 pounds on 93.
gotcha. Yeah, it's about right. 15 for pump gas is 16 even. It's about just the limit for 93 if you want to have fun and really be able to go on it and do some racing and all that. But once you start hitting the 19 psi and so on, or 17, 18, it just gets a little too
Yeah, because what
wild.
Derek said, he had to push back timing and with like 4,000 RPM when we were doing 21 pounds, he had to bring the back timing to 4 degrees.
Ish.
And he was like he was already knocking. But I think because it was hot outside, but
Oh
I
yeah.
think yeah, once you hit 19, 20, 21, you can't do pump gas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were seeing back in the day on the RSX, if we were to try run 93 on a 19 psi or even 18 or so, just accelerating would just knock. No matter how much ignition you will remove, it would just knock just from a psi alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I could say confidently say 15 pounds on a 9th gen. I've done it for half a year. It's been fine.
Definitely.
Yeah. I'm running mostly 15.5 psi all day long. You have to get a good tuner, someone who you say you can tell them, hey, I want the power, but this needs to be safe as well.
Right.
Hans, you were tuned by Derek. He's a great tuner. He's been doing it a long time. I was tuned by Jeff, also a bit of a brainiac on the tuning world. And I don't know there's a lot of e-tunes these days, and everyone's like, oh, just go get e-tunes. And, I guess they work, but you know, as long as they're getting all the data they need and everything, just be if you know if you
Yeah.
need to run 14 psi and lose um 10 horsepower, then you know so be it. He says, so Daxter wants to know what would be the wait time for a smaller blower pulley.
Actually, I got them. I got all of them in stock right now. So, other than me being delayed by either travel or whatever's going on with me, but I do have a lot. This is the peak of the year, so but just a couple of days or so. Just keep on top of me if you
Yeah.
need it right away.
Hey, what camera setup are you using here, my friend?
Me, I
Yeah,
am just on the laptop right now. Yeah, you.
come on,
I know.
come on,
Yeah,
come on.
your setup is badass. It's really nice right now. That looks really good, man.
Yeah, yeah.
The contrast, the color is just amazing. Yeah,
How
look
you
at
gonna
that.
get? How you gonna get me to be here with this thing? Dude, this thing does all kinds of sick stuff. I don't even know how to like transition effects.
Yeah, if you hit transition then and click the next camera, it will transition to the next one, like in a fade or things like that.
Hey, Jose.
Yes, sir.
Guy says, Ryan Smith, is the K-Tune coolant bypass needed for installing the 1320 on a K24 Z7?
The coolant bypass, is it needed for which kit again?
The 1320 kit.
Well, not so much the kit. Is it air to air, air to water? There you go.
Oh, he doesn't say. I guess he'll answer.
Yeah. Well, I guess to answer correctly, you need it for cars. For example, in the 9 gen, we found that it's Barry. It's having too much fun with the camera.
Sorry. This is badass, dude.
Isn't that awesome? And then the other thing you can do, I'll answer that question in a minute. So the other thing you could do is if you hook up a separate second laptop,
Yeah,
you can have pictures
in pictures.
or video and say, okay, let me show you this video, this picture, boop, and switch it over. So
Nice,
that's
nice.
what I was doing that one night. I was playing around with it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so about the coolant bypass.
Sorry, guys.
No, that's all right. I'm sure they're all having fun watching it too. The cars that need it are, for example, the 8 gen. If you do an air-to-air setup or the air-to-water, the coolant bypass, the coolant hose just sticks up too high, almost right into the manifold. So we recommend you go to the RSX thermostat and housing, both of them, so that the hose points downwards away from the manifold. But on the 9 gen, because it's a higher deck, we have gotten away with just cutting the hose a little shorter and be able to use the thermostat as is with air to water.
Yeah, he said air to water.
Yeah, so he should be all right. Yeah. Hopefully, if it's a 9 gen.
Yeah, Nitro.
Yeah.
I see Daxter like right now, probably like hitting up your website and ordering that pulley.
Oh.
Um,
Yeah, no, I wish I had a warehouse with people and just taking orders, but it's not the case, guys. I gotta supply the world, so it gets a little hard. But we'll get there. We're growing slowly. Every year gets better, so we'll get there.
Oh, there's this guy. I sent a text, but I don't know if you saw it. So he bought the 900 kit last month when he had that sale.
Yeah.
So me and him were talking, and I kind of convinced him. I was like, "Oh man, you should have went 1320 at least." But he was wondering. I forget his name. I gotta look it up. But did you already fab up the 900 kits? Because he was thinking about switching over to 1320, or he wanted to upgrade.
That's why I don't want to sell the 900s anymore. It's easy to just say. It reminds me when I went Jackson Racing. Less than a year was upgrading already. It is late because of the situation that we've already paid for that to the factory. If he could find a buyer for the 900, then that would make things easier for him because then I could just swap the purchase into that new person.
Yeah.
And he just pays the difference. But right now, or if I
that's a bit of a group buy kind of
Yeah, that was a
promotion
sale,
you had.
right? Wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a short lived,
Oh,
and I went
he's with
straight up.
us. Ryan Smith.
Oh, that's him.
Yeah, he's hanging out here. Hey, Ryan.
Oh, okay, that was him then.
But
Okay.
another thing I can do is if I get, I mean, things kind of plateau right now and it kind of slows down for the summer. But it's already July, middle of July, things slow down and not many people are building cars. They're kind of cruising along, just doing what they're doing for the summer. And given the COVID thing, not many people are doing much anyway. But if an order comes for the 1320, I can try keep him in mind so we can do a swap that way. Um, oh, sorry, for a 900. If another order comes for a 900, maybe we could do something like that. If anyone listening online right now knows of someone looking for a kit, you know, we can work something out where that person gets 900 and help this guy out.
Yeah, I think his goal. I think initially, if I remember, he just wanted 300 wheel. But
Did he watch our race video? Is that what happened?
I have no idea. He just hit me up. He asked me about the clutch, FX300, if he should go FX300 or the Exetti Stage 1. I said, hey, just get the FX300 because it feels like stock. It holds power. And I don't even think I needed to really upgrade to FX400, but I just did just in case. So I like the Clutchmasters FX300 clutches. I think they're fine. You have them too, right, Barry?
Yeah, that's an awesome clutch. Like
Yeah.
I could teach a new driver
Yeah.
how to drive stick on that clutch.
Yeah.
And still keep driving my clutch for a while.
It's a good clutch.
That's how confident I am with that thing.
Yeah, plus when I drove both of your cars, it was so easy to drive.
Yeah.
Just phenomenal.
Yeah, aside from Hans's tall ass first gear.
I'm used to it now. I'm used to it. I haven't launched it yet, but I'm used to taking off. So my takeoffs are better than it was before. Before I was just like, man, I can't do this. But after a while, I'm just like, this. It's so much easier.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I remember we had the tall gearing with the RSX days, so it wasn't that difficult to adjust. But like making that left turn out of Derek's shop into that busy street, I was just like, I'm taking off at like $3,000 in this car. Because I don't want to bog in the middle of the road.
Hey, Matt,
you
Matt,
get that fear, right? Like, oh, you better not turn off on me.
Matt has a question for you, Jose.
Oh boy.
He goes, Jose, I really want the 1320, but I'm worried about bolting it onto my high mileage K24 Z7, 174,000 miles. Thoughts?
Do it.
I don't think you should worry about it. I think you'll be fine if the motor is in good health. If your motor is not smoking, if your motor is behaving in a sense of, you're not having problems with the car, it feels strong, your oil is clean, you don't plan on abusing it,
Yeah.
you should be okay. I mean, I have an EP3 at home right now that had 275,000 miles when I bought it, and I supercharged that car. And that motor is known for being weak, and it's still running. Well, it's parked right now because I'm working on upgrading it, but that car was running just fine. So, and the only thing I had to do was a cam change, but that's an OEM problem. So, motor drove fine for about 2 years and still running, and just switching to something better now.
Also check your do a compression test. See if your compression is even on all cylinders. If it's good, then I don't think you have anything to worry about.
Yeah, I was like, your EP3 had like 240,000 miles, right? When you boosted it.
When I bought it, so it's like 275 to actually might be even 280 now.
Yeah, and so you did the valve adjustment on it. I think I remember you doing that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I replaced the valves. No, the valves. I'm sorry. I replaced the cams because the person that sold me that motor, I guess, ran out with oil. Something happened to it, and the lobes were eating up. So it's something that happens also on the AP3 after researching it too. So just a friend of mine, friend of Tony's, he had a cam set at home. He just handed it over to me and was able to just swap it in a day and done. So
Got it.
But that was not a problem because of the supercharger. That was a problem with the OEM setup before I even had the car.
Yeah, because running low on oil or extending the life of your oil change will damage any car. But it's definitely worse with a boosted car.
Yeah.
But that's just someone who stopped taking care of their car after about 100,000 miles.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, even now that I switched to ethanol, I'm gonna start changing my oil maybe like every 2,000 miles, just because. So, because now I'm pushing more boost, I run the car harder, and I'm just gonna keep switching it out as much as possible, just to keep the engine healthy. Because I want this motor to last. Um, so we'll see. Because when I'm ready to rebuild it, I'm gonna definitely change the pulley, go to Derek, retune it, drive it hard, and really push it and to see how much horsepower torque this motor could really handle. And then when it blows, then I could be like, okay, I'm going to upgrade everything. So,
Uh, Explain that part carefully. What do you mean waiting until when?
oh no, I'm saying like once I'm ready, if once I'm ready to rebuild the motor, I'm gonna go ahead and up the boost again and really push the motor to a limit and wait till it blows, I guess, and then rebuild the motor.
Thank you.
When I'm ready to buy a new motor. I'm not gonna
Thank
do that now.
thank you so much. It's so
Got,
kind
got
of
on
you
the
to blow
pro.
up your motor for us. Like, you know, just take one for the whole 9th gen team right there.
It'd be crazy if like I'm pushing like five something and it still doesn't blow. I'm just like, man, guys, I'm just trying to blow this motor. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But I'm definitely gonna have to probably completely convert to ethanol because when Derek was doing the 93 tune, remember I was making less with more boost on the 93 tune this go around than I did on 15 pounds when I tuned it back in January because it
Wow.
Yeah.
was just doing too much. It was knocking too much. So you had cut back timing. So I think if I up the boost, I have to definitely just switch to ethanol 100% all year round.
Yeah. Quick question, guys. I just want to catch up here. Um, I know what my answer is, but just to take a vote, Jose, you probably know better about this. Matt wants to know whether it would be a good idea to check the timing chain and guides before and the tensioner before boosting.
Again, it goes back to. Well, let me rephrase that. I'd say you don't have to if your motor
He's
is
never
good.
raced a car. He said he's never beat the crap out of it.
Yeah, if the motor is healthy and you have no reason to feel that something's wrong with it, you should be fine. I mean, now if you know your car, like for example, if it's you gotta be thoughtful, right? Okay, if your motor is 200,000 miles. You've never changed the thing on that motor. You did not do any maintenance whatsoever. Okay, consider changing that chain because I actually that's one thing I did on the EP3 when I got it because it was very rough at idle. Even after I did the camps, we changed that chain because and then we found it was actually stretched.
Hmm.
So as a maintenance item, if your car is high mileage and is overdue on that maintenance item, do it. But the supercharger is not a reason as to why to do it. I mean, do it before you even supercharged because your car may even run better.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah, he said 174,000, which
I would do it if it hasn't never been done.
yeah.
So
Now,
to
is the reason to not supercharge? No, but that's a separate issue altogether.
to add what Jose was saying, I made a video when I had my Evo 10. I made a video stating before you even modify your car, do all the maintenance mods that you can. Check everything. Make sure everything is healthy on your car. Don't just assume that it's healthy, but actually go through everything. Make sure, like check the compression, do all these maintenance stuff before you mod any car. It's in any platform. That's my suggestion with everything. And I did a video on my channel. It's called, I forget what it's called, but it's when I had my Evo 10, I think it's titled just maintenance mods before you mod or something. And I explained how you really need to do those first. Make sure your motor and everything's healthy, and then mod your car.
Exactly.
Especially on a high mileage car. I mean, like I bought my car, it had 54,000 miles on it, and to me that's a very young Honda motor. So I didn't check any of those things. We just said, hey, whatever, slap this supercharger on, because the car is just getting into the stage where like now some things need to be, the maintenance needs to be done, transmission fluid, um regular oil changes, like those are just automatic. But I probably will not bother. I'm also a fan of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Hmm.
So the timing chain, Matt, I think it would be a good idea to get it done, because you're either going to do it now or you're going to do it at 200,000 miles, and
Yeah.
you're pretty much. I don't know how much you drive it. If you don't drive it a lot, maybe don't do it. If you're going to put 25,000 miles in the next 2 years, then
Yeah.
but that's a personal choice. If it helps you sleep better at night, get it
I
done.
would do it. Yeah. Just
No.
do it.
The peace of mind.
Do your
Okay.
compression, change all that stuff. You'll basically have, I mean, I'm not gonna say it's a brand new motor, but you'll have a healthy motor. And if you have that peace of mind and you boost it, you should have no problems. I mean, I've been boosted for over 10K now. I push it hard. I go street racing, I do everything. Zero issues. I don't burn oil, nothing. I change my oil, I do all my maintenance, everything's been fine. So
That's-
Ryan has a question if you want to read it.
Yeah, I'm trying to catch up. It's not that many questions. That was a good one. I mean, I gotta say, Matt, I think on one of these next live videos, we're gonna have to join you in, because you bring us some really really good points. Um, Ryan wants to know, and this is really one of those difficult questions to answer: how much
Yeah.
boost the 900 will produce with the 3.5 pulley? It's hard to tell.
What motor?
K24 Z7 9th gen.
Jen?
Yeah.
I'll say 10 to 11, maybe 9. I don't know.
I have no idea.
There-
It's Jose.
Yeah, I'm
Because-
distracted because I'm still setting up a couple of things here. What is
He's-
the pulley combo?
It's the
It's a
ninth gen motor with the 3.5 pulley on a 900.
Oh wait, on the 900.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like maybe 5 psi.
even with our bigger crank pulley.
Good. That's a small. This is what happens now. That motor it likes air, right? So it's gonna feed. It's gonna eat it up.
Yeah,
And one thing we always found is with the big blower, anything, for example, with the M62 blowers, you make less boost with a K24 than you did with a K20. And 3.5.
that's true. That's true.
Remember
dude.
that?
Yeah,
So it's gonna be low.
because I remember I think I had a 3.2 inch pulley on the Lyshone blower, and I was running like 21 pounds of boost on 93,
Wait.
and it was scary. It was like everyone's like, "That's just gonna blow, man."
Mhm.
It didn't blow, thankfully, but
So what pulley setup do you have now, Bear? You have the 9th gen crank and 2.8,
yeah, son.
and you're pushing 15, right? So
Yeah.
I'm on the bigger blower, but I have the 9th gen crank, but I have the 3.5 pulley, but I'm pushing 18. So yeah, he might be like 5-6 range then.
Yeah.
Yeah. It won't be much. You're gonna probably have to go 2.8, dude, right off the break. Maybe.
With the cooler at that point.
Yeah.
And again,
'Cause-
now it gets to a point. This is where you gotta be careful now. If you're gonna put a 2.8 pulley off the bat on a 900, you bought the wrong blower.
Yeah. Well, that's why he wanted the 1320. That's why
Yeah.
I was talking to him. I was like, man, you should just went 1320 at least.
But look, the 900 kit I think that was a good deal you had
Yeah.
on your site.
And if
So
your
to
goal
get-
is,
it's good for those that don't want to change anything. Let's put it that way. So you want a 900 kid, and because we're feeding a different clientele, and we're giving people a broad range off the bat where they can pick the right blower, where before this was not available.
Yeah.
Now you can pick. Okay, you want to pay. You don't want to change injectors, or you have to change injectors, but you don't want to upgrade your pump. You don't want to change the clutch. You don't plan on doing anything else but enjoy a little faster car. Then get the 900.
yeah,
250 horsepower, 275, maybe 300 if you put, but that's where you're going to be happy ever after. Then pick that. You're fine. That's within your budget, and that makes it easy to be boosted, but without breaking the bank.
yeah,
Now, you want 300 horsepower, and you're going to want to change the clutch, and you want to add injectors, and you have money for fuel pump and other rest of the upgrades needed for better power. Get the 1320. Now,
yeah,
you really want to race, and you want to kick ass in the street, and you want to be racing Mustangs and all the, even though the 1320 can do it, but you want to do it easily, then go 900 because you have the budget, you have the goals that you want to achieve with that, with your car. But that's, I guess, where I'm heading out with that. Don't
Jose just
limit
gotta
your,
sell.
yeah, well, I don't limit people on the blower size that much. If you guys remember, people kind of get upset with me because, oh, the blowers are only like the price difference is so little. Well, because the blower really doesn't drive what you need to buy. It's
yeah,
what drives the what you need to buy is your goals and your budget for the
yeah,
upgrades. Yeah,
yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Because Jose's right. When you go with a bigger blower, you're gonna have to have the upgrade your fuel system. You got to do the injectors. I did it twice.
You're right.
That's a huge price. I mean, just 1,300 injectors are $1,000, and 1,000 injectors are about $500. So that's $1,500 already right there. And if you go with a smaller pulley, a smaller blower, you don't have to upgrade to 1,000. You could do 750, 600. It'll be a lot
Yeah.
cheaper. You don't have to buy all these other parts with it.
And
So-
and that's what I'll say about the difference between your build and my build. You know, a few months ago, I was like, I think I'm ready to do the 1900.
Yeah,
That's a commitment, not just about swapping out the blower. If
It's
I just
everything.
swap out the blower of my setup, I'll make basically like the same amount of power I'm making now because
Yeah.
I'm limited by my fuel.
Mhm.
I don't think I'm limited by the clutch at all. But it would mean a fuel return,
Mhm.
um, which I can do, but it's just like, okay, I was really committed to making this a fun daily driving, zippy car.
Yeah.
Right.
And I like the response I get from the 1320 with the smaller pulley. Um, so that's what I'll say. If upgrading to the 1900 is whatever the cost it is to upgrade the blower, plus whatever the cost is to upgrade the fuel, the transmission at that point, just because I want 400 ponies or whatever.
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
that.
Yeah, limit yourself on your build, not the blower.
Yeah, and I sometime in next year, I think in the winter, I'm going to be shopping for an 8th gen because I do want to go like balls to the wall, just not with this bad boy.
Yeah.
And it'll be like, Jose, I might even do the 2300. I don't know. What do you think, Jose? Is that absurd?
Again, drive yourself by the budget.
What if I tell you there isn't a budget?
Then go
Like there's no
2300.
Excel spreadsheet.
Then go 2300 all the way.
Yeah.
Because you already said you want to go balls out. So here's some of the cool thing about the blowers. Your efficiency increases in temperature the bigger the blower. For example, if you remember, Hans was seeing much lower IATs than you were at the same boost level.
Yeah.
Significantly.
Right.
Yeah.
And not only that, he had higher torque. So higher torque lower IATs, more consistent racing temperatures with a bigger blower is a big win.
Yeah.
Um, so then with the 2300, if that motor is built and you're trying to push it, I mean, Jesus, you're gonna make a ton of boost with less heat, more CFM. So it's again what drives it is the budget. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you just consider the efficiency according to what you're trying to do.
And that's what I like about the bigger blower, the efficiency. You know,
Mhm.
Yeah.
it makes it easier on the cooling. Um, and more power. More power, baby.
Exactly.
More power, baby. Like my boys on Donut Media. I like those guys. So Jose finally got his serious setup kind of going.
Well, you bug me, so like okay, let
I'm
me
like,
spend the
dude,
time.
what are we, amateurs here? Like, oh, 5 seconds, this camera goes off. Let me just, I gotta change the auto off on my Nikon.
Mm. Can you plug it in?
No,
Okay, that's weird. That's doing auto off. Well, then again, I don't know that Nikon too well, so.
I could change it. I think I tried to change it earlier, but it was like right
Mhm.
before meeting. The GoPro does the same thing. I was telling Hans that I've grown to hate GoPros.
Mm.
They're a great action camera, but that's about all they're good for. And I don't like that you have to have all this proprietary GoPro stuff to use like a microphone, for example. Um, Everything is like it's like you have to buy our stuff. It's and I don't know. Maybe I'm just whining right now, but
Nah.
you know,
Dexter.
like
Dexter's
like
savage.
that. Yeah, I like Dexter.
Told my wife it's only $1,500 for the whole kit. All right.
Nice.
Dude, Dexter, did you hear my story about how this car was bought, man? I tell the story way too much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go for it.
I'm gonna make a video about this night
Yes.
because you know that was an epic night in Charlotte. Basically, went out to party with you. Had no plans of looking at a car. Like, oh, that camera's done. No plans of buying anything other than drinks that night and some big steaks. And by midnight, I'm shopping for a car with Jose. He's like, maybe we should get the Audi. I'm like, maybe I'll get the Audi, maybe not. But we found the orange car like 30 minutes up from Charlotte. And I bought it. And I flew back home the next day and I told my wife,
I bought a car.
surprise. I bought a car. Dude, I've never seen her so furious.
How mad was she actually?
Like her face was red and
Yeah.
shaking. Like you know when women get like I'm gonna switch to the other camera because she was like you didn't even do it.
Without the smirk, right? Without the smile.
Like you
Oh, she
you
did the
knew
shake.
you didn't call me. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Call you from the dealer? Honey, may I please do this? No. The whole process took too long, anyways.
Oh my god, yes.
Like shopping for cars, like if you already know you want it, if you agree on a like even after agreeing on a price,
Yeah.
it
You,
was
you know what it was? I think
savage.
I had not bought a car for so long. You had not bought a car from a dealer for so long. We're out of our game for a little bit there, and they took advantage of that. Like trying not took advantage, but they were trying to get us to buy by their
Yeah.
standards.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
And-
what took the longest. The purchase was easy. 'Cause
Yeah.
we literally drove the car. We all fell in love with it. We signed the papers, argued with the guy a little bit about the price, but then it was just dealing with the finance guy.
Yeah. The finance guy is the guy. If you're watching this, the finance guy is the guy you gotta be careful with, because he will lie you
Yeah.
lie you out of like $5,000.
Yeah.
For those of you who are like not. I mean, like I made the mistake of walking away, signing paperwork that I didn't need to sign for, and thankfully Jose's like, dude, you got to look this over because you signed for some shit. And I got home, and I'm like, I paid for like some crappy insurances. I forgot what the gap insurance,
Yeah.
and gap insurance used to be mandatory for a used vehicle after 2008, right? So I signed it because that was around the time that I bought the RSX. It was whatever. And so I called the bank, and don't be afraid to do this. Call your bank, call your lending company and say, hey, you know what? I signed for the stuff, but the guy kept telling me that I had to get it. And she was like, no, you don't need that. You don't need this. So she called the dealer, the manager, and dealt with them directly and said, take all this crap off or we're not paying you. Because they didn't have money. They didn't have the money from the bank yet. So yeah, Daxter, you got fucked too, man. Sorry if there are any kids around here.
What happened?
He's paying for gap insurance.
Oh, I pay for mine.
Dude,
Hey,
it's a scam, bro.
No, look, I do mine through my insurance. It's like $5 a month.
Hello.
What's up, man?
Hey, we found you. Sorry.
Hey, the 10-second guy is here.
I don't know what. No.
Yeah. It's very humble. But anyway, Jose,
yes,
Tony,
sir.
welcome, man. We've been having a good time here, man.
Come in. No, but you want to come in?
I'm super late. My bad.
No, dude, it's fine. This is not the most formal thing in the world.
Yeah, we're just
I
talking
fell
shit.
asleep. It's hot today.
Yeah, I think Jose just woke up too.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So Daxter has one question, Tony. Before we get this going,
Yeah.
Any word on the dual throttle body setup? Like,
Oh, that's all Jose.
When is it going to be public, man?
That's all Jose.
Oh man! All right, before we hit that, Tony, go ahead. We never met Jorge before online, so let's go ahead and intro this real quick and go from there.
So you gotta do your intro. There you go,
Do
George.
an intro?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Why not? Yeah. Hi, I'm George. Some of y'all may have seen the little video we put together for the how to install 1320 at the lowest setting without cool, so it could be safe. And we managed to throw it together, and it made a respectable 270 horsepower. Taking all things into consideration, it's uncooled and whatnot. And we do have the bits to make it fast, which has been working, and we haven't put the smaller pulley and cooler. But other than that, I also did a 1320 Mugen, having fun with that. Had a little fun with Viper this morning that
No way.
didn't expect the factory, car to stay side by side with him, but it was fun.
Nice.
Nice.
But yeah, so we had a little bit of fun with our cars around here. I mean, we're at my house right now, and there's literally like 8 Hondas, and no, we're not partying. It's just me and Tony.
Oh, you better give us the view of that right now. We gotta see that. Come on.
Show us the Hondas.
This is awesome, guys. Check this out.
The turbo hatch. It's been in pieces for a while. You got a V18 C5 EM1 with a supercharger on it.
Nice.
The Ford. The row of cars to jack semis on a highway. And then we've got the 1320 coupe you probably can't see, and
Yes.
the 1320 Mugen behind it, and then mine's out in the cul-de-sac out there.
The daily drivers.
Yeah, so that's you probably couldn't see any of that, but maybe.
Now we saw some dark blue stuff.
Yeah. That's really all it is. Dark blue.
What I want to know is how much horsepower is in this driveway.
Combined?
Yeah.
Hatchback is supposed to have 1,000, but we have never been able to get that turbo car running, right?
Yeah. That explains it.
I don't know. This thing's probably mid threes. This thing's 270. I don't know what an Explorer makes. And then
320.
these are all like 40 horsepower a piece. These 99 2000. But Yeah, I was late to the show because I came over here to hang out with George. Honestly, I forgot to see this. My bad.
No,
My
that's
bad.
all right, dude. Well, I'm glad we're glad you made it, man. A lot of people like to hear from you.
Yeah. I had to put the car back together with stock trans. I messed up one of the trans bits inside, and it's gonna take like a month to get. So I just threw it back together with a soft clutch and a stock trans. So that's why I was a little late. I gotta trying to get it set up. Yeah, we can do that. That works.
Hey Barry, we lost your camera, bro.
Huh. I wonder if Barry just lost everything.
There you are.
Okay.
So that's Jorge. Jorge is the behind the scenes guy with all the cars. That guy is it's been a pleasure meeting him and being there and witnessing the Mugen collection.
Oh yeah.
that never ends getting upgraded, which is nice. And they're being a great customer of mine and friends. And he has upgraded two of his cars with Merc Racing Supercharger kits. And Tony and Jorge, we have pretty interesting questions that came up when you guys were gone. One of the questions was, should I boost my high mileage Honda? And I think you guys know really well what goes on with that. I don't know if you heard the question correctly, but
So boosting the higher mileage ones is not something that I fear at all. Like the motor I just pulled out of mine, 160,000 miles on it, and driven every day. It was supercharged since like 95,000 miles. And the rotating assembly and all that jazz, there's zero issues in the car. The one issue I had was a casting defect, but the motor's still fine. I just swapped it out with a different one because it was leaking coolant externally. But a 200,000 mile K series means nothing. I literally pretty sure I just pulled the 200 something thousand mile K series out of the junkyard, did a timing set and set the valves and put it in a car, and it ran perfect. So the mileage, provided that the motor was maintained, I don't see it being an issue at all. I think George's EM1 has like 300,000 miles on it.
It's about
260,000 miles on it. It's got a supercharger on it. And then he's got, the coupe, I think only has 60,000 miles and it's supercharged. It's not really going to be a whole lot of difference in these Honda motors. They were just put together so well.
Yeah.
Like I kind of wish I worked at the Honda factory so I knew what they were doing, but they just did it really well. And it doesn't scare me at all, mileage. What to me, the important part is, doing a leak down, doing a compression test. If the motor's out of the car, check a couple bearings, see what it looks like, and then just go. Yeah, just send it. I mean, somebody's trying to sell me a 200,000 mile motor. I don't care, because I'm going to open it and look at it anyway, or at least do a leak down and go from there. These motors seem indestructible. I've yet to actually kill one, and that's surprising.
We have a friend that killed one, but that's a different story.
Yeah, that was user error. I'm thinking.
Yeah, the other thing we answered for the group joining us tonight was the timing chain and tensioner.
That's right.
So in my answer with that was, if you have a high mileage motor, just do the maintenance, replace the chain.
Oh yeah,
tensioner if it's overdue.
So from my understanding, I mean, the timing chains are supposed to last the life of the car. But I think back when they were making these motors, they didn't expect the cars to last as long as they do.
Well, they stretch too.
Yeah, they stretch slowly. I grew up with old school V8s. First thing we did when we got a car, regardless of the mile, was a timing chain and tensioner. Hands down.
Oh, this is car opened up.
Yeah.
The guys.
Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing is I've never even replaced the guides on my motor, and they're in this new motor now. The guides are at 200,000. I've replaced the tensioner and the chain, and at 120,000 miles, the difference between the two chains was hardly notable.
Yeah.
However, again, if I'm getting a motor and I'm going to run it, or I just bought a car, it's got 150,000 miles, a timing chain and a tensioner isn't anything to me. I would definitely do it just for peace of mind, making sure that everything is synchronized as it should be, because that's what the timing chain does. Make sure all the events are happening, synchronized, and keeping everything healthy inside the car.
Right.
So to me, timing chain and tensioner at over 100,000 miles is the same as changing the oil. It's basic maintenance, and I do recommend it on the higher mileage ones.
All right. So I know, Barry, we're doing a fast fire here before we catch up with all of us, but I'm gonna do one last thing. The last question was the dual throttle body, right?
Yep.
So dual throttle body,
I knew that was coming.
3D printed prototype,
Aha.
just to make sure that we can see through it. No, just kidding.
Oh, scuba diving.
But yeah, no, this is the proto. See if he focuses. Focus your fuck. Nah. AV, if anybody has watched that guy, they know what I'm talking about. But anyway, this is a prototype. This is what we're expecting to sell to people that want this unit for putting a dual throttle body on their cars. It requires 2 OEM throttle bodies. You need to purchase those plus the inlet, and literally just bolt this baby on, plug in your throttle bodies after they're modified, either by us or yourself, and preferably by us because it's a pretty hard job. And done. You just plug these babies in and they run. Tony has proven that the ECU does not care.
At least on 18.
On
At
an
least on
agent, right? On an agent. Thank you. So on an agent, and so anyway, that's where we are. So pricing is not available yet. I still got to get some quotes on this unit being done. But if anybody's truly serious and you have the money, then let me know. We'll just make it work. There you go. He's ready. So moving on to the 9th gen and dual throttle bodies. I think a little while ago I posted a picture. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick and show you guys. I am already working on a prototype for you guys. And give me 1 second.
J37s times 2.
Yeah, for anybody who wasn't tracking the data that I got off of switching from 1 J37 throttle body to 2 K20 throttle bodies, because that's what was available and what we had mocked up. That alone brought it up to being, from a 70 millimeter throttle body closer to like an 84, 86 millimeter, depending on how you do the math. And it was good for about 10% boost increase over the whole RPM range. My car was making about 20 and a half pounds at 8,600 RPM, and I put that on and it bumped up to about 23 pounds at 8,600. And it mirrored that all the way across the RPM band. So the guys wondering, do the dual throttle bodies make a difference? Yes, they absolutely do. I actually just, throwing the stock trans back in, put the single throttle body back in, just because I wanted to see if I could replicate, the PSI change going back down. And it again was about the 10% drop going back down to the single J37 throttle body. So it wasn't some hat trick. It's legitimately the throttle body's flowing more, allowing for the supercharger to work easier and to get that boost. And you're not spinning the blower faster, creating more heat. You're just making everything more efficient, which to me is a huge deal. Is efficiency in these cars.
Exactly. And now, here's the crazy part. If you're having not an issue, but if you wanted to increase efficiency, something we covered a second ago, Tony, now you could run your blower slower. Use the same time. Exactly. Use the CFM efficiency. They'll have the same horsepower, possibly even more torque, and cooler IATs.
Oh yeah, I had some guys reach out to me and ask if me running 10s was purely based on the fact that I had 2 throttle bodies. Absolutely not. My blower's got another 7,000 RPM. We can crank it up to make that PSI. We had a little bit more heat to deal with, but could have done it. But if you're at a point where your supercharger's maxed or about max, or you just want to keep the IATs low, going to that dual, that's going to get it there for you. I'm really happy with mine. I thought drivability issues would be something we'd have to fight with, and honestly, there were none. When we slapped them in the car, we went and did some highway pulls because it felt so good, and we didn't even adjust the tune because everything around the normal driving parameters was kept pretty concurrent and flowed pretty well. So threw it in the car and it went well. But for those of you out there trying it, still have a tuner, check it out if you're not one yourself. But I really enjoyed them. I daily drove them for, 15, 20,000 miles, road trips, all that good stuff.
Yep, no problems at all.
Yeah, absolutely zero issues with the throttle bodies.
So I'm going to pause you there, and that's good, Tony. So now one thing we've learned with upgrading the 9 gen, when we went to do Hans car, the gentleman here, so wave your hand. Here we go. We learned that the throttle body on that car cares what motor is on the throttle body.
Ah,
So I'm suggesting to Hans that, given what we read from the Honda website, that we take the motor off the 9 gen throttle body.
Mhm.
And if we do this swap with the J37, or we do this dual throttle body, that we put the motor from the OEM
Yeah.
car in there, because I guess he reached the load of the motor. It can tell
Yeah.
if it's a bigger load. So, and I think that will take care of it. I feel that the throttle body itself does not create any load on the motor that's significant. It's just two plates with no extra spring load added. I mean, the other one is just flapping around normally. The other one is the one that's OEM. So it should not care. I mean, it's not different than putting more boost on your car. There's going to be pressure regardless.
Right.
I
Guys,
agree with that.
we have a couple questions lined up.
All right. So that's the end of the dual throttle bodies. Done.
Okay.
No, it's not, but
Yeah.
let's see. Ken FA5 wanted to know, and this is a Merc Racing question. When are the current CT after cooler batch shipping out? Please, please, please.
Oh, man. Quiet, gentlemen. Quiet.
All you, man.
Guilty as charged, huh? Now, it is the question of the century. 2020 has been the CT after cooler year, year of the year of whatever, of the cooler. I don't know what happened. All of you guys decided to buy after cooler kits this year, and I've sold probably over 20 of these things this year, which is an ungodly amount to any year ever. So I am totally out right now again. I have a new batch that's actually getting ordered this coming week to supply the demand for the new orders that are coming in. So what I recommend is order it now, get in line, don't wait for later, because later comes, then they're sold, and then you get upset because they're gone and there's none in stock. Well, you waited too long.
Well, it sounds like Ken already ordered.
Oh, good. If you already ordered, then man, listen, I got a ton of orders getting made. They'll be out soon. I'm not giving ETAs right now, right away, because for the past 2 weeks I've been traveling, I've been working orders. I don't have staff, unfortunately. I'm not big enough yet for that. So I'm doing everything here as I build. I deal with everything, and just things are running a little bit um, in delay mode, but they're getting done. We'll definitely deal with you directly to get those orders out.
Awesome. Awesome. So hang in there, Ken.
Thank you, Ken. I really appreciate you, man. I really appreciate the support. It's just been insane this year. I definitely have more than double the amount of work from last year. I don't know how
Yeah.
I'm doing it, but it's happening. So,
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
The other question is from Dexter. What are your opinions on running a bigger air-to-water reservoir from the trunk?
Not a fan of that question. Tony, you got any pointers on that?
So on my car, you know, we're trying to go faster than anybody gone with a supercharger, and I've got an LS swap car, so I've been hanging out with a lot of Cadillac, CTSV guys who do TDS 1900s, and that's where I took some of the cues for the larger water pump and the larger reservoir. Now, some things to keep into consideration, you know, with a front-wheel drive car, is putting weight over the rear axle isn't going to help much. We spent a significant amount of time and effort putting a reservoir up front in my car to keep the weight up front, and a larger pump. The CWA 100 pump that we put in the car definitely helped lower IATs a lot, and the larger reservoir definitely helped stabilize IATs, you know, for a longer period of time before we heated up the entire system. Running one from the trunk is doable, but if you look into some of the cues from the big blower guys that are running from the trunks, a lot of them are running 2 pumps, a lot of them are running 1-inch lines, a lot of them are running really big tanks. So does it help?
And they're going to the bigger EMP pumps, which they are about $500.
Yeah, they're quite expensive. So the guys I know that are running, you know, 8s and the CTSVs, they've got one of the CWA pumps like I've got, and an EMP pump that they're tripping with, you know, IAT sensor to have it kick on at the track, or manual override to run both pumps. So one's pumping forward, one's pumping back, because that is a lot of line for the pump to fight, right? That friction inside the line and all that jazz. To get to the specifics, I personally was really adamant about wanting to keep the weight up front. Now, what I will say is putting that giant reservoir in the engine bay itself is kind of, it's one of those things that's going to be counteractive. If you're sitting in the staging lanes, if you're sitting there idling, that reservoir is going to get warm. You know, we put it outside of the engine bay, inside the front bumper, and I think that was the one of the best places that we could go with it on the car.
I'm glad you bring up point, because one thing I found this week when I was out traveling dealing with the Audi car, we increased the coolant capacity significantly. One thing I did not expect, or at least I didn't think about at the moment, was how much heat those cars contain inside the engine bay, and how much of it likes to come forward through the radiator side. The guy was idling the car, and when he gave me the IAT numbers, I'm like, holy shit, that water is actually hot instead of cooler. So that's one thing you got to keep in track too. So going on Tony's point, you increase water, you got to keep in mind that you got to keep it cool. So if you put it in the trunk and your car is baking in the sun, you're actually baking the water itself too.
Yeah.
So the guys who do the trunk tanks, a lot of times they'll run like a drain through the floor pan and a big opening in the top, and they'll ice it down at the track. You know, if you're doing short road course runs or drag racing, and they'll literally put like 5-10 pounds of ice in it, and you're creating, you know, winter air temp conditions for your car at the track, which is only going to make it faster. It truly will, but that's not something that I personally was interested in. You know, the additional maintenance and all that at the track. So, you know, with my car, we went 10/8 with I think the highest I got was 130 off of just, you know, room temp air or room temp water. It wasn't ice. It wasn't none of that. It was sitting in the front bumper. So you can go fast, and then you can go faster. It depends on how much effort, how much creativity, and what your budget's looking like. You come to Jose with enough money, and you can go as fast as you want him to go. That's plain and simple. You know, a lot of guys are limited by creativity. I can tell you right now, Jose is not. Jose's got all the creativity. Just, you know, put the money forward to back it, and what do you want? You know, it can be done.
And be willing to test things and not be frustrated by having to take time to change things.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of trial and error as well.
I want to take this in a slightly different direction.
Go for it.
Is that a beer? I thought we agreed no drinking on the show, man.
Gotta stay hydrated. It's hot.
It's ginger ale.
Yeah. Without the vodka.
Oh.
All right, so I really want to bring it over to Han, man. Like, you've been quiet. There's a lot, like maybe even some of the people watching could help us out here. So you upgraded your transmission, and number one, like the speedometer was off, right?
Yeah.
Like, way off. We didn't expect it. I think it was easier back with the RSX days. Like, we had to like relocate a sensor or something for speed.
Well, so you're saying Hans's speedometer's off with the new gearing?
But we fixed it with a whatever.
So this what happened. Flash Pro for 9th gen, they don't have a calibration where you could change it in Flash Pro. So you have to buy something external. Barry gave me this one. This is about, he said, 10 years old. So we tried this one's digital Dakota, really old one. And it was giving us issues. It would intermittently work. Sometimes the speedometer would say 0. So when I was with Derek, we were driving, we couldn't hit VTEC because it stayed at 0. And then sometimes it'll jump to 138 and it'll stay at 138. So I bought a new one, the updated one, and it has more inputs and outputs and more customization. And it had like 4 different settings: low, 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 high, 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 low. Meaning if your initial speedometer read too low and you need to make it high, you go low, high. And if it was reading high and if it's reading close, similar, you go high, high, or low, low. So you just have to mess with all the settings. And I finally got the settings right with the new one, where I just set it on high, high, and set my speedometer. and it works flawlessly now. At first, I had it on a different setting, and then I was sending some data logs to Derek, and he was like, "Dude, when you're going full throttle, your shit goes to 0 for a second. You really want to check on that because once it hits 0, your VTEC's not going to work." So I had to mess around with it a little bit, and I finally got it to work, and it's been working fine. So I got the updated Dakota Digital, and it works pretty good now. So.
Yeah, Dakota Digital, some really good stuff. They've been around in the V8 stuff for decades. So yeah, I don't think you'll have any issues with that product going forward.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and just the one that I had was old. It was like I bought it for the RSX,
Yeah.
and just like we needed it in a pinch because they were going. He was picking up the car like in 2 days. So, the other thing, Han, is our throttle bodies. And this is something, because when we put the bigger throttle body in your car, I was like immediate. I was like, I have to have this bigger throttle body, but it's been giving you a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
And can you tell us about that?
So Derek, he says for the 9th gen on Flash Pro on Honda, they don't have what he called the excel enrichment or tip enrichment. So when I'm pushing the throttle slightly, like cruising, it'll lean out to like 17 to 18 for a good half second, and then it'll kick in. So when I'm pushing the gas, there's like a lag, then it kicks in like that. So when I got back, I had to send a couple of data logs to Derek, and he did the best he could. He added a little bit more fuel, but he said it's just a band-aid from what's the true problem. So he's actually emailed Honda to try to have them set up something for the 9th gen to have that setting. So we'll see how that goes.
Good. You think they'll be able to correct that? You think based on what he's saying, or?
He says it's the OEM ECU has it, but they just haven't added that feature. So if they could add it, it'll be fixed. If not, I'm going to have to live with it. Or we could try that switching the motor, because on Honda's website, I think I sent it to you guys. Yep. It's the circuitry is different, and it's overloading it on the J37. So that's why I thought the same thing you did. Why don't we just switch out the electronic components and see if that works?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the only downside to it, to the J37. I'm learning to drive it, and it's been better now, but it might turn off some people because when you push the gas, it does lag.
Right. And for those, I don't know if you can read this at all, but this is the Honda reference to that. I don't know if
you see it there.
Is it backwards when you see it or no?
No,
it's fine. Okay. Yeah, it's just backwards for me. It's weird. But yeah, that's the topic where you guys are looking for. If anybody wants to go read it on your own as well.
Yeah. No, but I mean, another option is, you get the dual J35 throttle body when that's ready.
Mm-hmm.
And that should be even more efficient than just a single J37.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll be patient, but in a sense, I'm tempted to try it out myself too, because if you have more of a bigger sample size, then you can say definitely, this is the fix or this is not the fix.
Yeah.
That's just hilarious.
Hello. Let's be like the teacher in school. You got something to say, bro?
Yeah.
Oh.
What's up?
Oh no, we're just messing with you.
Oh, okay. So George, you brought up the point that a lot of us running the older J37s off of like the 8th gen era. Wondering if there's any difference behind like the newer TSX J37s that are more like 9th gen era, and if the circuitry in those is different. I didn't want to throw it out there and like spam the whole world and have everybody get all concerned, but that's what we're
think about it.
The newer J37s, looking up part numbers for those and trying one of those. I don't know if the internals are different. I'm not a throttle body expert by any means, but out of curiosity, looking across generations and how circuitry changes and ECU generations change. That's a very good point. That's from George.
Right. Oh, good point, George. I think it's worth taking a look at it. It may use the correct motor for that generation, and it may
Yeah.
solve what's going on without having to do the whole motor swap. Because not everybody wants to open up a throttle body.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So my thought on it was basically it's very possible that since they did change it for this current generation, that they probably changed it across the board. And we looked up which one was it, the TLX?
It's the new TS or the TSX that has the V6 in it. I believe it's the J37, and that's the second gen TSX or whatever it is. The 09 pluses, which are more similar to the 9th gens in a lot of ways, shapes, and forms.
Is that the
So
one I just got a link from you, George?
We'll say that.
Is that the one I got a link from you recently or no?
Oh no, that one was for the
Older,
RDX
right?
and the J37.
Okay, that's older then. Okay. Then okay, got it.
Yeah.
That's not my car
Someone's hauling ass back there.
or my stomach.
It's a
They
dry
break on
ass.
here all the time.
Nice.
All right. So, question: How much longer do we keep this going? We're at an hour and a half now.
I'm good.
I mean, I ain't going to bed until like probably 2. I just got up from a nap. So, I mean,
And we got a couple of questions too. So
yeah, let's hit the questions. And as long as those keep rolling, I have no problem staying on. I don't know what y'all guys' schedule's like.
Matt's got a good question, and Matt's a loyal. He's been here since like minute 1. Han, can you explain why you changed your LSD? Was there a strength concern with the OEM diff?
What I've seen, and it wasn't that many people, but when people start hitting around 500 wheel on the OEM diff, I've seen a couple of YouTube channels that boosted their 9th gen that it craps out. So I didn't want to run into that issue. If I'm gonna change everything, might as well change to the better LSD. So with the wave track, why I selected that one, it's what do you call it? Zero no load LSD, meaning I think the OEM LSD, it still needs a load for on one side for the other side to spin. But with the wave track, it doesn't need it. So if you turn one, the other one will spin regardless. Little to zero load. So I just went with that, and they provided a lifetime warranty, and I heard they just hold up power more. So I just went with that. I just figured, hey, what's the extra couple $100 if I'm already doing all this?
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
as far as that goes, years ago when I had my car together on the air-to-air setup, we took it to the track. I only got a couple of passes in on an OEM trans, OEM LSD, and it had some pretty wicked torque steer. The car was trapping like 117 on my shakedown pass, and it was not as clean as it should have been. The car definitely had the power, but it had some wild torque steer. And I don't know if that was the LSD, but it very well could have been for the power and on the slicks. And now with there's a Quaif in mine now, or there is, yeah. There's a Quaif, and I had 0 torque steer. Car went straight down the track every time. With slicks on low pressure, whether it was spinning or whether it had full traction, I had no torque steer. So I don't see that as being an unneeded or unreasonable upgrade if you're shooting for those high horsepower numbers to make sure the car's tracking straight.
It's
It's
safer. It's safer. Because I drove a car without an LSD just because my LSD had been broken. So I said, oh, fuck it, let's put this thing in here and just go race. Well, the car with that much power, the torque steer will try and pull you the wrong direction. You could literally hit a wall with enough torque, enough tire. So keep that in mind.
And another question I get from people, why didn't I go with M Factory? M Factory is a clutch type LSD. I'm just not a big fan of clutch types because they eventually will wear out. I just don't want to go back and change them.
It's a maintenance item
Yeah,
at that
I
point.
just don't want to do it.
The hardcore thing, yeah.
Yeah.
They're amazing though. I got to experience one. They're awesome.
You used to have one on your blue car.
But it's in a bag right now because I broke it. But it was the best money I spent on LSD. I if I could afford it to go back, I definitely would. It's amazing. But it's a hardcore racing type clutch, yeah.
We're gonna see what kind of stuff we can break on Jose's car this fall.
Oh boy, yeah, we got a lot of parts to break, don't we?
Yeah,
we're gonna break all the things.
You guys are up to some pretty wicked stuff.
Yeah.
With the upgrades on a car.
Mm-hmm.
What are you guys doing?
So, oh no, we can't talk about it yet.
It's all still in my head
That,
anyway.
we're gonna save that for episode whatever number. Yeah.
Episode 300.
But traction should not be an issue. We're just
That's
gonna
what,
go
there
with
you go. Yeah.
that. Shouldn't be an issue. But yeah.
So I can
Should be
LSD. What's the other one? Yeah, my mother has been. Oh boy.
Yeah, Daxter's from Connecticut.
Oh
So,
wow.
you know, originally from Connecticut. That's almost hot as balls out here too.
Hmm.
It's so hot. We're sweating right now, but I don't know. It's nice to be outside.
So
Shout out to Ken. Thanks for subscribing, man. It's a very young channel, but I'm trying to do a lot of things here too. I don't know. Keep it fun. Keep it interesting. I really enjoy these live streams. It was a silly idea that came about because of COVID, and you know, it's like you get to hang out with car people like yourself. Um, I'm still trying to pull some names out here, like Chris from Redshift. We have a tentative date for late July or early August, so that's going to be really cool. He's a really cool guy. Han, emailed me because my springs, I like an idiot, I bought 2 sets of springs from him, and he messaged me and said, "Hey, are you sure you want 2 sets of springs?" I was like, "No, I only need the 1 set." Um, so he's like, "Well, that's okay. I'll just refund it." It's like, no, wait a minute. I knew Hans, the Black Asian here. Also, we've been sort of switching springs on our coilovers just to make the car handle better.
Yeah.
So it's easy as like, okay, instead of doing all this transaction stuff, I message Hans. I was like, dude, do you want these springs? He's like, yeah, sure. I'll just PayPal you or whatever. And Chris he's like, do you want me to ship him? You know, oh, me too, Dax. I want those coils, dude, but I got some stuff to upgrade. Um, so long story short is Han ended up with a set, and I ended up with a set. I'll do a video on that pretty soon, swapping those out. The car handles just beautifully with an upgraded rear spring. I mean, like this, I have the Godspeed suspension, and it was nice. It was a nice suspension to get in, but I took a friend of mine around a corner, and he literally said he thought his liver was gonna fall out the other side. He's like, the car. Number one, I have some pretty grippy tires. I have some badass brakes right now. So I went from like 90 to like 30 miles an hour, banged this corner, back on the gas, and the car was just like, yeah, give me more. You know that when you get that feeling, the car wants more out of like the abuse you're giving it. It's a damn good feeling. So anyway, so going back to like what Chris just messaged me this morning, he said, "Well, your springs are already on the way, and Hans's springs, I don't know where they are. They haven't shipped them yet." And I told him, "That's okay. He's a street racer. He can wait." And he laughed. He laughed, and so, but anyway, like a couple hours later, he's like, "Yeah, here's the shipping for him." So I like working with him. You know, he seems like a really cool guy.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. I've dealt with him before when I had the troubles at that one shop, and I had him on the phone, and he was very supportive. So he seems like a cool guy. And for you guys that are watching that don't know, the Godspeed coilovers that we got were 10K in the fronts, 14Ks in the back. We upgraded the rears to 18K, and I think these fronts are what, 12 or 14K? Do you remember?
Uh, the rears,
The fronts that we just got.
they're almost 12.
Almost 12. Okay, so we'll have 12 fronts and 18Ks in the rear.
Yeah.
But
Now,
it handles great. I love the way this car handles now, man. It's so awesome.
There is something that we don't know is whether we're overpowering the dampers.
Yeah.
And this is where Chris is going to be a good guide for that. I don't know. And Godspeed, um, the one thing I'm gonna knock them on is I called them and I asked them questions, specific questions like, do you make heavier springs? And they were very wishy-washy about it. Do you, do your damper support the heavier spring? And they basically don't know. Um,
Yeah.
it's nothing wrong. It's just they have a lineup. They stick to that. It makes it easier to do business. So you don't some dumbass like me starts calling you about certain these kinds of things. Maybe it's not an everyday thing for them. But I'm surprised. I'm really surprised it isn't. There are a lot of people out there who track, who autocross.
They're not. That tells you they're not a true performance company. They just make up a product and sell it and make money.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I like that it's a monotube design. That's
Mhm.
why I went with them. Yeah,
And
I've
the
had
price was good.
the
Yeah,
price is good.
exactly. It's
Good.
all pricing and say, let's move these items in and out. For situations like that, to get good answers, you would need to buy stuff from companies like Fortunato,
Yeah.
or
Redshift.
even Chris, for example. He knows what he's got experience. He knows what's the correct valving for things. Based on experience, I tell you one thing: when I overpowered my conies with springs, this is before I went to real suspension, real shocks with the race car. What happens is you feel like there's no shock at all right away. You you put the springs on, the car is bouncy. You feel like it just hops and it's just out of control, likes to skip and things like that. It just doesn't feel controlled. If you're right now telling me your car, you do this and it feels great and it's not wavering on the road or doesn't feel bouncy over bumps, then you might be okay. The only thing that may happen with these shocks is if they're not if their valving is cheap, it may wear out quicker.
Right.
And then the valves will just fail within a year or something like that. So,
Yeah. Someone just brought up a good point. I mean, a lot of people are on the suspension.
hmm.
Daxter said he ordered mono RS from Godspeed, and they sent him a blown strut. I've been hearing some noise from my front left strut, the driver's side, and I do think there's some issues there. Um,
Hmm.
so I'll when I take it apart next time, I'll take a closer look and and get back to you because I don't know. I don't like the feeling of it. I don't like the sound. It doesn't make a happy sound. If the car goes over a bump and both the front struts, absorb it, it's fine. But if it's only a bump on the left side, it makes that clunk that you don't like to hear.
Hmm.
So I might give him a call just because I you pay money for something you sort of want it to work properly or whatever.
Welcome to suspension world.
Dude, I love suspension talk. It's like
Oh.
stuff is awesome.
That clunks could be anything, man. It could be the shock. It could be the strut itself inside being, where it likes to move. The shaft itself moves inside, and it just does
Yeah,
this. The other thing I've seen is the spherical bushing. If it's metal,
yeah,
you may have to retort that where you don't see it because it feels tight, but it may have a tiny little gap.
right.
So when you go over that bump, you just go and kick over that little separation on the nut and the spherical bushing. Or the spherical bushing is cheap and somehow it worn out somehow.
Yeah, I mean, I only had the suspension on for less than a month, so it's what it is.
Hmm.
Another couple of questions here. Let's see. I'm hearing a lot of good things about some of people who have had like let's see, there's a BC coils.
Yeah. BC coilovers.
Someone switched over to BC. Um, Matt wants to know if I ever looked at motion control systems for dampers. No, um, I didn't. I didn't. I did a lot of speed shopping with this car, and I meant like I would call somebody like Han and be like, "Hey man, what do you have on your car?" And then I would ask Jose's son Nathan, "Hey, you drove his car. How's his car doing?" And he'll be like, "Oh, I think this is good." And that's why I have a lot of the same stuff that Hans got on his car. Um, it's just that's how it happened. And it's okay. I think this coilover suspension was like $800.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
So, you know,
I,
my next one will probably be a Redshift suspension.
Yeah,
yeah.
so as far as like suspension components go, or even like cars and efficiencies and jazz like that,
Yeah.
uh, I have found that, you know, in like the last year, making some large strides in my car. Take cues from some guys who like road course and like autocross. Them dudes who do corners and like do it competitively. And, you know, yeah, driver mod is a huge thing in that game. But the guys that are out there in the suspension they're running out there is probably what you want to be looking for. I got a buddy with an S2000 who's, you know, outrunning any car you can put on a track with him. And, you know, a lot of it comes into quality products. And he's tried a lot of different suspensions. But the knowledge base on those guys who do corners repeatedly, competitively as their sport versus the guys who go straight line. Hey, I'm a straight line guy, but it's true. Those guys are generations ahead of us. Straight line guys, we're in the past. So start taking cues from those guys who do that, and they'll probably steer you in the right direction. Like there's some wild 8th and 9th gens that do road course stuff, and you know, look at what the winners are using. Flat out. And that'll steer you in the right direction versus, you know, a lot of suspensions, it seems, are just for looks. Or something like that. So you got to be careful on what you wind up with. I'm on factory suspension, which has got to go here shortly because it's old and tired. But, you know, trying to take cues from the guys, you know, that are winning in the corner game, it's going to be kind of expensive. So it's going to be a little bit. Yeah, it's going to be expensive. But,
we definitely know that for sure. I mean, a good suspension for if you're truly going competitively and you're trying to win, you're gonna spend $5,000 plus on suspension. That's like the starting budget for competitive.
Oh yeah, we had a guy here with the 8 gen who did a lot of stuff like that, and he had got a hold of the guys at Redline, and I want to say he spent like $3,000 or $4,000 on his suspension, and that car was crazy to drive though. Like there was nothing I could ask of that car that it wouldn't just do. Granted, I probably didn't have the cojones to push it quite as far as he did, but man, it just did everything I wanted. And it was wild.
They feel nice, right? They feel good.
And the guys at Redshift made them custom for him, from my understanding. You know, he talked to them. They were very responsive. It was a custom project, and they got the stuff done for him. So, you know.
Yeah. Tony, two things. Someone said thank you for or something on the return. You should do. Wow, I'm trying to catch. Said, Dax said, thank you so much, by the way, for the fuel return walkthrough you did a little bit ago. So people are finding your DIYs very helpful. So shout outs to Daxter for bringing that up. The other one, Eduardo Gutierrez said, ain't nothing better than a free DIY football mod on your rear springs. Just as
man, we can work that. We can work that.
I was so shocked when someone said that, but that reminds me of guys who get it done on the cheap, and they get it done.
They were like $4 a piece on sale at Walmart, so I got $8 in my rear suspension, almost $9 with tax. So
my reaction at the track is priceless.
Yeah, but
you broke the budget, man. You broke the budget.
Yeah, I broke the budget.
Yeah. I mean, look at the Lemon series. All these guys, they have like a $500 budget on their car. So you see some pretty silly stuff. But it works. And they drive them for 24 hours hard.
Yes.
It was like the fastest one's got an ice cooler with a water pump running through a shirt to cool the guys down because it's so hot in there. The Miata. I'm just saying, if you guys haven't watched the video of that, you should. It's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, we should link that up.
Talking about race cars. I just thought I'd show you that in there just for fun.
Yeah.
I like that car, man. That's just gorgeous that day.
Yeah.
You got any more questions? I like questions.
Secret mod to run 10s. LOL.
Oh my God. You know, I can't believe that. I know he's kidding, but he's for real too, because that's what people are saying out there.
HFP, Honda football.
What do we hide? Yeah, what do we hide that we didn't tell nobody? Nothing.
Which craft did you make?
I was surprised that footballs held 20 psi. I didn't want to try 25 because I didn't want to pop one and spend another $5.
Yeah. That was really the secret sauce, right? The footballs.
Yeah. I mean, the difference in the squat on the rear was significant. The car was still lifting really bad in the front, but, you know, because stock suspension's not really designed to handle that. I was eating the outside edge of the slicks. There's a lot more left in the car if it was dialed in correctly. Not arguing that. There's people who could drive it better than me and go faster. Not arguing that. But
we laugh about
yeah.
it, but we are guys. We laugh and we enjoy it because it's funny. But really, there was nothing that we're hiding. This is strictly a car that he bought a kit, he installed it, he tuned it, he put a fuel system, put a transmission together, put a head gasket, valve springs, took a few seats out, and
And I want to go on the seats out part. If you were a regular sized American or a regular sized human, my car probably weighed the same with the seats out. But I'm like 240, so
yeah,
you know, like about even. We'll call it
just
full
throwing
weight.
it out there, right? Like
Yeah.
putting
We
it
just put
all.
we just put Han in
I
there.
mean, like, how's your car weigh so much? It's like,
But
all
he's
right,
got
no,
muscle weight. Hans has
yeah,
got that muscle weight. That stuff is heavy.
yeah, that's what it was.
So, don't mean to cut in. I mean,
No, you're
I
good. Go ahead.
for the most part, but the
Bring it.
thing is, we had broken the record we were going for that day, which was what, like 11.
11.10. We went 11.02 and then went back.
And so when we already broke the record we were going for that day, I just came out of left field like, hey, let's just take stuff out, right?
That's true.
So, and then Tony's like, well, we can take the seats out. Like, let's do it. So we took the seats out. I mean, yeah, the seats they can help a little bit, but I mean, when it comes to real racing, that's not to me. It's not that much weight. And but when we did the full sender pass and we got that 10, I mean, I was like, what? We made it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it probably would have been like a mid, 10.9 with the seats, and the seats are like 70 pounds total. It's not like, I removed 500 pounds out of the car. I kept thinking they were going to kick me off the track, so I kept turning the AC on the pit road, and they kept telling me my car was leaking. So like the car has everything.
I remember
They
that.
pulled up like twice on the 4-wheeler, and they said, hey, the ambulance, the turnaround said he was leaking. I was like, yeah, because as soon as I made the turnaround, I turned the AC on. It's hot out here.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know.
Yeah, there was no
You
trickery,
guys
guys.
can go a lot faster. I am waiting and I'm ready. One of you out there ready to go faster than me, go faster than me. And then we can go duke it out. I'm not going to keep sending my daily driver down the track just for S's and G's.
Yeah.
One of you guys can definitely go faster. Take that top spot. Go for it. I want to watch. I want to see.
I know who is going. I know who it's going to be.
Who is it? Agent? No.
It's going to be a night gen.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's going to be someone on this video chat.
Yeah. Get it.
We'll see.
Get it.
Woo, let's do it, man.
I got slicks.
His horsepower and torque curve compared to yours,
It's identical.
amazing, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, you have more RPM.
Yeah, that's
You
what
definitely do. You just have more RPM, but for a while, I think Han was making more power and more torque, significantly more.
Yeah, for a little bit.
Especially low end. You guys sort of meet up at like $5,000, and I was just like,
Let's see if I can find it.
Jose, you got that picture?
I do, and well, I want to. Well, I'll throw it in a second.
the graph.
Maybe I might be able to. Where the heck was it?
So, in all retrospect, the graph layover they had when my car was on about 20 pounds. I think it was on like 25 at the track. So
Yeah,
a little bit different, but yeah, it was pretty dang close as far as power goes.
yeah.
Up to whatever the red line is on the 9th gen, 72, 7400, something like that.
72, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it drives just like my car, just didn't have the RPM.
No.
So I'm kind of curious to see if I didn't want to do the 93 tune, if we would just went straight ethanol and kept the 3.2 pulley, because I think at that point we were doing 21 pounds. I'm kind of curious to see how much power I would have made compared to yours with that.
Yeah.
Similar PSI.
21 pounds, that RPM is going to be in my opinion, a world of hurt on them rods more than likely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the concern on stock rods. You throw the motor, you go to the moon.
Yeah.
That's like mine. Every little bit when I increase power, small increments, and I was just waiting to be able to see through my block, honestly. But I think the last tune I loaded said record or wrecker. So we went out and got it though. You got to be careful. You're what, 2.5 times factory power, or two and some change over factory power. That in itself is not a small feat. Are V8 guys doing it? Yes. But people think it's a huge feat because it's a bigger number. But you look at what a factory 9th gen makes on those pods, and then you lay it over on that, and you're going to see it's literally twice the power and probably 2.5, 3 times the torque down low.
Yeah.
So that is huge. That is an increase in efficiency. Look at percentages. Don't just look at the flat number at the end. And understand how the car is going to drive differently, how it's going to feel different, how it's going to perform different. 400 horsepower. To some people, they're like, oh, only 400. I doubled the horsepower of the car.
Yeah.
And cost me no drivability.
Yeah.
So like be real with your expectations and look at anybody who's out there tuning cars, going fast. Even human perception is humans only perceive a percentage of change. We don't perceive a flat line change.
Yeah.
So we're going to tell what 10% power increase is, but if I'm making 1,000 horsepower and 5 more, you're not going to feel it. It's not a big enough percentage. So look at things as holistically as you can on that. And 400 horsepower is nothing to scoff at. And I'm sure you've already out there showing a lot of people that.
Yeah, I got a couple of races lined up, so we'll see.
Yeah, I was talking to my neighbor. His just real quick point about that horsepower thing. His son drives a Ford Focus ST, and he's like, yeah, this car makes like 450 for something. And number one, he's basing it on like what the people on the community say, based on the tune he's loading on the car. So he has no idea whether he's actually making 450, 500.
A lot of people are like that.
So, part of me, I'm like, this guy's next door. I kind of want to race him. I didn't get the chance. He was busy. I was busy. And then one night we're just sitting by the fire at his dad's house talking. He's like, yeah, he drove from, I think, South Carolina. And he's like, yeah, but I can't drive my car with that high horsepower tune. I had to detune it to like 280 horsepower to get here. And I'm like, well, that sucks. What's the point of, and you'll hear like those are dyno pools. People do these crazy numbers of dyno. The moment they take the car off, they drop it to something way more reliable, I guess, in their eyes, or streetable.
The dyno queens.
The dyno queens. That's the term I was
queens.
looking for.
So that Daxter says, Eduardo says, Johnny, he's breaking your record. Eduardo.
Yeah, I know he is. Come on, let's get it.
He said,
let's get it.
all he needs is PPG gears.
Yeah.
At Fayetteville.
Yeah.
He's Texas Halo sea level. Get it.
No,
I know he is. He's got the K24. He's got the 1900, the air-to-air.
Almost there.
Yeah, he's there.
Yeah.
I know he's having a suspension issue where the car was pulling wild, but he's there. He's definitely got the power.
Ken's got a good question.
What is that? What you got?
And I think this kind of shows you that Ken's like he must have an 8th gen. So he asked, do you guys consider that some all motor design cams like DC 2.2s or 3.2s or even Skunk 2s, whatever series, would actually make some power over stock cams with the SC setup?
So the thing about all motor cams, if you want to get down and dirty, if you really love cars the way me, George, Jose, everybody in this video loves cars, you start looking into how like mechanical engineering works and how overlap on cams work. And what NA cams do is they stay open longer to try and blow more air out of the combustion chamber, to try and get the freshest air and the most fuel into the cylinder to get the most power out of it. The problem is with a supercharger, if you have a lot of overlap, all that work and that heat that superchargers, creating to work for that boost, you're just blowing it out the tailpipe before it ever even gets compressed and combusted. So if you are looking for some, in my opinion, I'm vouching for a company. I haven't used their stuff yet, but I'd love to. Oh man, I'm dropping the name in my head. The guy in Australia.
JD Quantum.
Quantum. There we go. Quantum. Yeah. He makes specific Rotrex and specific TBS profile cams. And the prices are not outrageous by any means. Just take a look at the guy's Facebook page and what he does. Guy is one of those much higher tier than I guys, and I would love to get a set of his cams. It's just budget is what it is. I spent the $8 on footballs. I got to save up. So, but the NA cams, if they're real aggressive, most of the time they're going to result in a lower PSI and a lower power and the same amount of heat. So, the supercharger cams are a thing. They 100% are a thing. and they 100% do make power. Look at any Cadillac CTSV. They do blower cams all day. Look at, tons of cars. But they have to be specific to that, or you're just fighting yourself.
Right. There's an interesting thread right now on the 9th Gen forum. One of the more technical ones, and there's a few guys testing out number one, a ported head setup for the 9th Gen. But along with that upgrade, they're trying to do some, especially the exhaust cam. They're trying to bring the VTEC back into the picture with the exhaust cam, but I think primarily their focus now is NA, and there are a few questions brought up. I think Han, you asked about it, like, hey, what's the deal? Some more show and tell from Jose. That's like hard porn. Are those the quantum cams, Jose?
Yes, they are.
You a-hole.
Wait, Jose has some?
Yeah, he just showed us some cams.
What? Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, you got all the good stuff.
He flashed us a little bit of cam work right there.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that is wet. So yeah, I would say don't mix the two. And I would rather stick with NA cams at this point. But me personally, there's a part of me that doesn't want to be the first guy anymore to test something. I don't want to be the what do they call it, the
Guinea pig.
the guinea pig. So
Man,
I'll wait. I'll be patient. There's
You
I'm
did
great-
that for enough years, right?
Yeah, I'm grateful to people like Han and Tony who've just like said, you know what, we're just gonna throw this thing at the wall and see if it breaks.
Well, like the quantum guy, he's got graphs. He can show you improvements, PSI, so all that jazz. Like he's gone through and done the testing. If you're legitimately interested, go to his page, run through it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that man has some ridiculous information and controlled environment tests, all the good stuff. He's got a wicked.
Is he doing any work with the 9th Gen K20C7?
I don't have an answer for that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't. I know most of his stuff is designed towards, like, I want to call it the first gen case, where they have the multi-exhaust port setups.
Right.
But if legitimately interested, the man has the resource and the ability, fund a project and he can get it done, like flat out. He, like, literally that race car that was at the top of his page, he like hand built that thing.
Yeah. No,
Faster than I could ever go.
when I said that, I wasn't talking specifically about him. It was more about the thread on the forum. That,
Okay.
I think it's very cool. We should get that going. I would be willing to do it just to help the community.
I don't know. Why is there a countdown?
Oh, that's my camera.
Oh.
And I've gone black. There you go. Don't worry, the world's not gonna end.
Okay.
What's on Jose's thing? What is he trying to show us?
Oh no, I was just showing. I wish it was bigger, but it's.
I see.
Just the cam stuff that he's got on his page, showing the different pictures and the testing that he did.
Oh, shit.
He's got a whole write up.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone can see the URL, but it's www.
Let's write it down.
So you know what, Barry, make me presenter. I think it'll make it bigger.
If you could just post a link on wherever they're posting these questions.
True. There you go.
I don't know where these questions are. You guys just keep getting them.
I don't know. I don't know if it's YouTube.
Oh, okay.
There you go. You're the host, Jay.
I think that'll show up.
Fine, what?
Well, now we can see your whole computer screen. Are you sharing your screen?
It's not
Whose
working.
YouTube are we on?
It's not working the way I'm expecting.
Mary's.
Never mind.
Mary's.
Yeah.
What's the name of the channel? I'm bad at this.
Reese's Cars.
That's right.
Yeah.
I sent you the link.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I can see me.
Well, now we can see your whole computer screen.
Yeah, let's stop that. Yeah, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, although I can't.
Oh, so that's what it looks like over there.
Yeah, that's.
Now mine is weird. It's strange. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
So
So
I
a
got
lot of people.
I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
So four piston, so that thread in ninth gen. So basically what they're doing is four piston claims that when they port their head, their CFM is in the 350 range, whatever it was. I forget the exact number.
It's like
So they
370 something.
yeah, 370 something. So with that head, do you think the stock cam profiles are sufficient, or do you think we have to get more aggressive like exhaust cam? Because we don't have VTEC on the exhaust side. So should we upgrade the exhaust cam with a single lobe to get more exhaust combustion out, or do we need to upgrade the VTEC intake cams? You know what I'm saying? Like, what would be more beneficial with the ported head with the ninth gen, or should we just keep stock? Would going
Uh,
with ported head be a waste of money? I guess that's what I'm asking.
no, I'll
No?
keep stock personally. Nathan just brought up a good point. There's a lot of people making plenty of power on stock cams, 500 ponies.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's true.
I mean, I think it's a type of thing that if you do both, you'll never know what gains you got from cams.
Yeah.
So, and it sounds like the ported head already will be a big upgrade.
So the ported head for four pistons is not that expensive. If you don't provide the core, I think the ported head is 1,500 or something. I forget. But if you put all the valves and all the other stuff, it'll probably be close to 2,000. But I didn't know if that would have been worth the investment to just try it out, because I wouldn't want to get it and then you're like, oh, you gained 5 horsepower only. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't be worth it to me.
Efficiency too. You got to think about it.
Very good.
Yeah.
How are your IATs? How's your ECTs? That type of thing is also important. I guess 5 horsepower is not that important, but it depends. If you're like at the threshold with efficiency,
Yeah.
you know, some upgrades are just purely for efficiency's sake.
Yeah. Because I'm looking at my dyno graph. I'm still making power all the way to red line. It doesn't curve down at all. It's still just going up.
Yeah.
So it's breathing. I'm thinking. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But
All right, guys.
you're not exceeding the CFM output of your head yet.
Yeah.
But just like the throttle body, it doesn't hurt opening it up and bring that line closer to shift the graph closer to the lower RPM, right? And start that power earlier so that you end up at a higher power later.
I really like Matthew's point here.
What he got? What he got?
What do you say?
I think given the modern cylinder head technology, it's a lot easier to screw it up than make it better. And this is exactly why I don't want to be the guinea pig.
Well, here's the thing. Let me. I'm going to bring that up the way I think JD and I forget his name. Sorry, guy, for not knowing your name right now. But the reason why he built the scams, it was in the quest for going with a 2300 blower at first, and exceeding trying to jump over that 600 horsepower wall.
Right.
He's trying to hit 700 horsepower. So he had his bigger blower. He has his, I believe, the ported head and all that. So now the reason for the cam development was to, okay, how can I make 700 horsepower? What do I need to change? And that's what brought the development of the cam. So anyone looking to really break records and power and try to get the motor to breathe better, and you already have a ported head and the most expensive header or custom header you can afford that has been engineered, not just built. Then yeah, cams make a lot of sense. But just, you're making 300 horsepower and you want to put a cam on your car, you're wasting your money. Just upgrade your blower, get better fueling.
Oh yeah, I just commented on the thread under George's name. But you can overreach the stock internals power wise on stock cams.
Yeah.
With a decent sized blower, you 100% can. It's been proven time and time again. I've seen lots of windows and blocks. So if your supercharger is probably not maxed out. The thing you got to realize is the point we're reaching with the ninth gen with the 1900 with my car is not that we're limited by cam flow. Granted, efficiency is great, but my limiting factor where I have stopped and why I have stopped is the stock rods.
Yeah.
I throw cams in, I make an extra 50 horsepower or 75, whatever power range I'd be at with a ported head. That's phenomenal, unless I window the block, because I didn't have, strong enough internals to go with it. So, when I go a built motor and then I feel like the cams are holding me back, then I'll push further. But as it stands, I couldn't push the money in that direction, knowing that wasn't my limiting factor.
Right, and you could do better other things that are better for our
there's other places to better put the money.
Actually, you did something that many people forget, that even caught me by surprise, because I let it go, just not thinking about it. Valve springs.
So that came from Derek.
Yeah, but still something you did on your car. So
my
you
car,
actually had gains from it.
We were having valve control issues at like 18 psi on the K23, which is single valve spring. We just couldn't get it to stop knocking up top. And I blew a head gasket. That's neither here nor there. And I reached out to Derek Robinson, my favorite tuner. And I was like, hey, what other recommendations do you have? Because we're going wild with the car. What recommendations do you have? He's like, man, with the kind of boost pressures you're seeing, valve springs.
Yeah.
You're doing that stuff, do valve springs. And I did them. I've driven the car without a blower in the upgraded valve springs. I've driven the car 25 psi, 28 psi with the valve springs. I've never had any issues with valve control. The car does what it wants. Again, if you're looking into mechanical engineering and the way that the boost is on the back of the intake valve, you're pushing 20 pounds of boost, whatever your original spring pressure or spring seat pressure was, you've negated it by 20 psi.
Yep.
So if you're not upgrading valve springs, essentially what you're doing is you're just making your valve springs weaker as you go up in boost. Same thing with fuel injectors. If you don't have a fuel return system, you had 45 psi of effective fuel pressure. You pumped in 20 psi of boost. Now you're effectively 25 psi of fuel pressure. You're dribbling fuel. So, you got to look at everything is multifold.
It's a push.
Guys ask me questions a lot of times, and I'll give them just a straight answer because maybe they don't want a whole lesson on, the second, third, fourth order effects of things. But it truly is a huge symphony in every system in the car. And there's always a deeper hole to look at. Fuel dampers. I didn't run one my first time around. I'm running one now. Did it make an effect that I can tell the difference? No, but I know the science behind it and what it does. And I was like, we'll give it a shot. I haven't had any drawbacks from it. The car ran great. What specific difference did it make on my car? I don't know. Tuning it was pretty easy. But you can always go deeper. You can always go, more overkill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of guys wait till they're building their motor to do all of this at once, not knowing you can't make these upgrades, especially like head upgrades are pretty easy. Most shops should be able to handle it if you're handy, like Tony, Merc Racing, and even I've taken apart entire valves, setups, putting them back together is just as easy as remembering what order things went in.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we're looking at over 2 hours here, guys. I am kind of running out of steam.
I didn't even notice that. Wow.
It's been one of the better ones, because it didn't feel like that much. But I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, I got an early morning tomorrow. Anyone have anything to close it with? Anything you want to say before we shut it down?
Yeah, I might go street racing here later.
Oh yeah,
maybe.
Gonna get some videos.
Well, people hit me up, say, "Hey, you gonna come out? You wanna come out? You wanna race?" I was like, "We'll see." I'm kind of tired, but we'll see.
Oh man, once the clutch comes up, all that'll go away.
nice.
Yeah.
So I guess let's close it with this real quick. Hans, I think after you build your car, we never did a video or talk to you about anything on that. So your car got the upgrades. I'll let you finish the rest of that sentence. How it?
Yeah. So this last tuning session, I went to I switched to E85, so I had to get bigger injectors, and we switched the pulley to 9th gen crank pulley, so the stock crank pulley, and we went to a downsized the supercharger blower to 3.5. So the car, just overall, I love the way the car feels. It pulls. I haven't, like, last time I upgraded everything, like after a week, I kind of got used to the power. I was just like, man, I want more power. But as of right now, I'm pretty satisfied on how it feels. I haven't been craving any more power. I actually want to start doing like seats, get upgraded seats and stuff like that, and get different rims and stuff. So the power right now feels really good. I like it. I'll know when I start racing people to see if I really want more power. I raced a older Charger, some dude by a used Charger, and he was trying to run me. I destroy this guy, and it's just like what I've noticed ever since I bought the Civic and boosted it. Some of the V8 guys here are just like dicks. Like I just don't like how they like try to intimidate me. But then I beat Mustangs, Camaros, and it's like every time I beat them, I'm trying to slow down, just be like, hey, good run. But they're always like trying to get behind me and stuff, and like they're embarrassed. I'm just like, dude, come on. But then like right before the race, they're trying to be dicks, like over rev their motor and do all this other crazy shit. I'm just like, man, whatever. But other than that, man, I enjoy the car. I really love it. I'm really anxious to rebuild the motor because I really want to push this thing to like 8,000 RPM. I really want to go with a 2300 blower, and I really want to push this thing to the limit. And we'll see. We'll see when that happens. So when I told everybody, when I'm ready to rebuild the motor, I'm going to get it retuned. I'm going to change the pulley. I want to push 20 pounds of boost, 20 plus, and really push this motor until it blows. When I'm ready
Yeah.
to rebuild the motor. Yeah.
That's how we find out where the limit is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, guys. That's my limit right there.
Yeah, it's good.
I am gonna holler at you later. Thank you to everyone who's joined. If you guys subscribe, thank you. That means a lot. We'll be doing this probably in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I'll try and show up on time.
Yeah. I'm hoping to pull through with Chris from Red Shift, and that'll be a fun chat. So
Maybe
thank
we
you,
could get a
everybody.
Derek.
Yeah.
Derek, I was thinking about Derek. I was talking about that. He's up on the list. Hopefully, he has time for us. Maybe not 2 hours, but it is what it is, man. Thank you, Jose, for making the time.
All right.
Tony, thank you for joining, man. Jorge, it was
Absolutely.
pleasure meeting you.
Yeah, man.
You guys, really knowledgeable people, regular guys who just love what you're doing. So
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna hop off, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Just make sure to send me a text again when it gets closer, because I forget things.
sure,
Yeah,
man.
no problem, man.
All right.
All
All
right.
right. I'll
Take
talk
care.
to you guys later.
See ya.
No problem.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Yeah.